Oh, hey Bio20s. Just doing some light reading here, gotta keep the mind sharp. I suppose we will get a lesson in though. Today's lesson we'll chat about the ABO blood types. So we discussed the components of blood last video lesson, and today we're gonna talk about, well, when someone says, oh, I'm type B blood, or I'm type AB blood, or I need type O blood, what does it really all mean? Where did the blood types come from? How do you determine your blood type? And then how do you determine blood transfusion rules? So, without further ado, the blood groupings. Early on, when scientists and doctors would do blood transfusions, a lot of times people would die. And they were confused. They were like, you're losing blood, you need blood, let's transfuse someone else's blood. Sometimes it would work, and most times it wouldn't. So then people were confused as to why was this person okay, but this one wasn't. What they realized, and it wasn't until the 20th century, they realized there are actually different blood types. There are different blood groups. People have different glycoproteins on the surface of their red blood cells. So each person has these different markers which give them their blood type. So, what are the blood groups? Well, if you are type A blood, your red blood cells have the A marker, or the A glycoprotein. If you're type B blood, your blood cells have the B marker, or the B glycoprotein. If you're AB blood, you have both markers, A markers and B markers. And if you're type O, you have no markers on your blood cells. So, there we go. What happens here is the glycoproteins are what we call antigens, right? Essentially markers that your body can recognize, and if you have antigens or markers that your body is used to, markers that your body knows, you're good to go. However, when you have foreign antigens enter into your body, whether that's through a virus or a bacteria, sometimes an allergen, and sometimes foreign blood. When you have these foreign antigens in your body makes antibodies. And the antibodies will attach to the antigens and attack them and get an immune response against that substance. So if you're given blood with foreign antigens, what happens is your blood will actually start to clump together. It gets like sticky and gluey, and we call that agglutination. So you remember agglutination because your blood it's like if you mix blood with a bunch of glue and it starts to clump and stick together. Obviously, it's a very, very bad thing because if blood is clumping and sticking together, you get blockages in arteries, in veins, blood isn't flowing properly, damage to organs, the list goes on. So that would explain why some people were living and some people were dying in those early blood transfusions, right? Someone would have type A blood, they'd be given type B blood, their body had never seen this B marker before, thinks it's a foreign invader, and then goes ahead and attacks it, causing agglutination. So, let's dive a little deeper into the actual blood types. So when I think of the blood types, I like the donut analogy. There's a video on YouTube you can go ahead and watch where they go through blood types using the donut and sprinkles analogy. So I kind of like that analogy. So type A blood will have the A markers on it, the A antigen. So we can say that, there we go. So this donut has A sprinkles on it, okay? So it has A sprinkles on the red blood cells. So the red blood cells have A sprinkles. In the plasma, you make antibodies against B blood. So you make what are called anti-B antibodies. Notice the shape of the antibodies. They fit with what looks like a triangle-shaped antigen. A is a more kind of circular antigen, so these antibodies would not affect, obviously, your own blood. However, if you were given a B blood, these antibodies would attach to it and start attacking it. So, type A blood has A markers or A sprinkles and anti-B antibodies, so it doesn't like the B antigen. Type B blood will then be the opposite. So if we have our B donut here, they have B sprinkles. So this donut has B sprinkles on it. This blood type obviously has B, would be just fine getting B blood. However, it would then have the opposite of A blood, where it would be making anti-A antibodies within the plasma. So inside of your plasma, if you were given A blood, these antibodies would go into action and start attacking that A blood. So, generally put, A can get from A, B can get from B. That's pretty simple. Okay, let's keep going. Next blood cell we're going to talk about is AB blood. So this would be double the sprinkles. So you have A sprinkles on these donuts. You also have B sprinkles on these donuts. You get both. So what does that mean? It means that if you're given A blood, your body recognizes A, you're good to go. If you're given B blood, your body also recognizes B, you're good to go. And of course, if you're given AB blood, that's your blood type, so you're also good to go. And check out the plasma. You have no antibodies in your plasma. So having type AB blood would be very beneficial in the sense that you could get different blood from a variety of types. You can get blood from a variety of blood types. Okay? The final blood type we're going to talk about is type O blood. If you're type O blood, you have no markers. You're a plain donut, no sprinkles. Since you have no markers, you're making antibodies against A, so you have anti-A antibodies, and you're also making antibodies against B, anti-B antibodies. So what that means is, if you get A blood, your body's going to attack it. If you get B blood, your body's going to attack it. You better believe if you get AB blood, your body's going to double attack it. The only blood you can get is O blood. So that kind of puts you in a bit of a tough situation, because if you need a blood transfusion, you can only receive type O blood. That being said, since O has no markers, O can be given to anybody. So since you have type O blood and there's no markers on it, nobody has antibodies against it, so type O can be given to anybody in the world. So that's pretty cool. So just to kind of recap here, type A blood would have A antigens on their blood cells and anti-B antibodies. Type B blood would have B antigens on their blood cells and anti-A antibodies. AB would have A and B antigens, no antibodies. Type O would have no antigens and antibodies for A and B. Now, very important to note, when we talk about blood donations, we refer to AB blood as the universal recipient. It can get blood from anybody, A, B, AB, or O. And O blood is our universal donor. O can be given to anybody. That's why there's always a push for O blood. When you hear about blood donations and people donating blood, they always want, if you have type O blood, to make sure that you find a chance to donate, of course, if you're 17 or older. So those are kind of our two donor rules, AB being the universal recipient and O being the universal donor. Now, in case you're curious, and I just threw this up here because I think it's kind of interesting, blood types in Canada, the most common blood type in Canada is actually O positive. So O positive is the most common blood type. 39% of people in Canada are O positive. So chances are you're either O positive or A positive being the next most common, 36%. But once again, if you're unsure of your blood type, you can always get it tested. It's a pretty simple test. But the two most common here in Canada, A positive and O positive. Now, you're probably wondering, well, what's that positive and negative mean? Well, it's another marker on your blood cells called the Rh factor, which stands for the rhesus factor, okay? So people who are said to be positive, like O positive, A positive, B positive, they are Rh positive, which means they have that marker. If you are without that marker, you are Rh negative. So here's another rule we need to add in. If someone has A blood and they're A positive, and someone has A blood and they're A negative, yes, they both have A, but the rhesus factor doesn't add up. So what happens here is, if you have the Rh antigen, you can receive positive blood or negative blood. But if you don't have the Rh antigen, you can only receive negative blood, which makes our true universal acceptor, so the true universal acceptor, AB positive. You can get any blood type. Any blood type, if you're AB positive, you're good to go. And the true universal donor O negative. Because O negative has 0 markers on it, right? So it has 0 markers, it's a plain donut, no markers, nothing. So just another rule to add in here, right? First you have to make sure that the ABO side of things matches up, and then you have to make sure if the positives and the negative match up. So if you're negative, you can only receive negative. If you're positive, you can receive positive or negative blood. So just a quick test to end here. What blood type would be this blood cell? So I'll give you 10 seconds to figure this out. Okay, time's up. If you said AB positive, give yourself a pat on the back. You are correct, because this red blood cell, this RBC, contains an A antigen, a B antigen, and an RH antigen. That makes us that makes this blood AB positive. Okay, and all you need to remember is simply like can donate to like. So there's big donation charts you can try and memorize, but if you just know the donor rules, don't bother memorizing those charts, right? Just know that A can give to A, B can give to B. You notice that, oh, AB has A's and B's, so it can get both. O's, no markers, so it can only get O. Positives and negatives, the difference between those two in terms of who can get what, that's about all you need to know. So that's it for 11.1, blood and blood types. Next lesson, we're going to talk about your immune system, talking about the first 2 lines of defense with your immune system, your non-specific defense, and then later on we'll get into the 3rd line of defense, which is your specific immune system. So thanks again for watching, and we'll chat again soon.